Hello and welcome to our EV meeting. Here you can see who is presenting tonight. It's a fairly long presentation or meeting, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing or listen to it, just pick out what you want to look and listen to.
I'm George Parrott, and the president for the next couple of years until I migrate to Australia of Sacramento Electric Vehicle Association. What we have for tonight, since I've gone through my introductory comments, we're going to start the program tonight with a bit of a special presentation. What brought me to electric vehicles was my commitment to air quality and to what was really vehicles that were fun to drive. What brought me to Sacramento Electric Vehicle Association as a member and then early board member was the inspiration, the incredible dedication, the expertise, and the wisdom that I saw on the board of the Sacramento Electric Vehicle Association back in 2011, and so when I was getting involved. And as part and core to the board at that time was an incredibly distinguished expert in technology and in areas of details relative to the emergence of electric vehicles that I had no even inkling of understanding of, and that is our now retiring board member, Tom Dowling here. Tom is one of the most high-powered, incredibly committed, and long-standing proponents of electrification in vehicles that we have in California, in the United States. This organization and this chapter has been unbelievably benefited by the years of involvement that he has with this technology, going back to paddle chargers, going back to the EV1, and the development of charging technology as a consultant all over the area. What we're doing here for the first part of our meeting is providing a recognition to Tom and a thank you to Tom for the years of service and inspiration, because for many of us, we would not have understood what we were doing without Tom's commitment and his expertise. This is a letter from Jack Bowers, who's now up in Reno and couldn't make it because he snowed in. And he says as follows, quote, "I met Tom about 15 years ago through a mutual friend who was a past president of this association, by the way, Tim Hastrup. I just purchased Toyota's first generation RAV4 EV, and the charging infrastructure for its small paddle inductive system was quite limited. I needed a tax break for my DIY investment newsletter business and figured that as a willing donor, I could speed up the process by contributing to promoting and developing chargers. Tom had an excellent project manager and contract negotiation skills and could walk people through every step of the process of putting in chargers. He could get a charging site up and running in a few months. Without Tom's involvement, you could count on a year of confusion for all parties involved." Skipping around. Years later, I took delivery of a Tesla Roadster. I developed a renewed appreciation of Tom's pioneering work in EV infrastructure when I attempted to identify EV-friendly RV parks along the interstates. Tom had already created an evchargermaps.com app using a database program and website software that would allow EV owners to post comments on any given charging site. The idea was genius, of course. Why wouldn't it be? It's Tom's. Because the reliability of most charging sites was not good in those days due to a lack of monitoring. Tom's website allowed one to see if there were any issues with a charging site before you attempted a trip. That concept worked so well that it is now the foundation of nearly every EV charging app that's out there. Okay, I want to introduce Jason French. Jason is one of the senior officials with Clipper Creek.
I'm the president and founder.
That's about as senior as it gets. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. The opportunity to honor Tom is really wonderful because he has been around forever. And we all he has helped our company certainly many times, and giving us advice, solicited and unsolicited, of course. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the fact that we have an opportunity to participate is an honor for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Daryl? Where's Daryl?
One thing I wanted to point out is before, and I can't even believe this, but before this existed, this club was like 4 or 5 of us having lunch, right? I mean, I guess it was Tim who finally had the idea to make it official, but I mean, it was just this small group of us that, because there were only a few of us who had EVs at the time, but this is the guy who turned me from a, gee, I kind of want to have an EV to how could anybody want anything else? And he inspired me to make the cars better and, you know, just a better fit for so many more people by modifying them. He always had these great ideas, and he realized I could turn some of those great ideas into reality. And so we had a great relationship throughout all these different cars. And it's, it honestly is Tom who got me as involved as I am in EVs today. So awesome.
So we have a letter from Dwight McCurdy. Dwight is one of the senior people in SMUD, and let me just take highlights. Tom has advocated before the SMUD board at public hearings on pricing and rates matters, urged SMUD to maintain low off-peak rates for EV charging, has testified before the Sacramento City Council for favorable parking and charging pricing for EVs in the downtown city parking lots. In early days, Tom installed a handmade EV switching device to automatically charge 2 EVs from a single connector. The design was compliments Val Beliso, one of PG&E's EVSE electricians. Skipping down, in 2003, Tom drove his EV1 to LA to join with hundreds of other EV1 drivers to participate in a funeral wake to protest the announcement by General Motors that it intended to recall and crush all of its EV1s, and of course to celebrate the incredible technology represented by the EV1. And this is just testament to the range of contributions and involvement that Tom has had. Tom, I shouldn't take any credit. Michelle Thomas has prepared the letters in one booklet and then a picture booklet here.
Wow.
Of you, the family,
Wow.
and various activities. But we're so proud to have had you as part of our board and part of our membership.
Wow.
Michelle? And it doesn't quite stop there. You're going to be the one that presents that. I'm just going to talk about it. So you just walk over and hand it. We have even dancing later. All she has to do is skip. Okay, this is a beautiful plaque to commend and recognize Tom's contribution, something worth displaying. Yeah, a J1772 plug. And in addition to these temporary little gestures of recognition for Tom's contribution, we have been able to arrange with the wonderful sponsorship and support of Clipper Creek something a little more significant.
So we asked when we were when the board was talking over. I'll stand by
Yeah.
the mic. When
Yeah.
the board was talking over, what was important to Tom in terms of doing this? And Tom was all about educating people and making the community more aware and making sure that there was knowledge out in the community. And so we were asking, what is it that, from that we can do to make meaningful Tom's contribution over the next several years? And it came to, and George actually pointed out that Tom's interest in education, such as we ought to create something called the Dowling Scholarship with Clipper Creek to award to one of the most promising second-year student at American River College in the automotive program, a $1,000 scholarship to help them through the next year. So that's now a 3-year program. Midway through, the top student with economic need would receive, on the basis of the recommendation from the staff at ARC, would receive this Dowling Clipper Creek scholarship. And this is already committed by Clipper Creek. We appreciate very much over for the next 3 years, so it'll be an annual scholarship. So let's give a round of applause for Clipper Creek. And Tom, it was your leadership and your influence on all of us that made that happen. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I didn't know they were doing this. I know you guys.
That's why we cut you off
Yeah.
of emails,
I
Tom.
know, it's going to tell you. I was chewing you out. All of a sudden, my email subscription to meeting notices doesn't come. What's going on here? So I knew nothing until I sat here amazed.
And thank you, Vera.
Thank you.
She was the co-conspirator, somewhat obviously.
Tom, I've always said, important in a successful marriage is not only love, but the ability to deceive. So, thank you very much for helping us pull this off successfully.
Tom's a really wise man. Back when I started doing this EA stuff, I asked him to join the board, and he wisely declined. Smart man. And I've talked to him hundreds of hours on the phone. Vera can attest to that. She just reluctantly hands the phone to Tom. Hour later, we hang up. I can be long-winded, as everybody knows. I'm not going to be today here. Anyways, boy, charging infrastructure is the name of Tom's game, and it goes way on back. Back in 2002, Tom negotiated with the federal U.S. Postal Service that we could pull out charging stations from Blossom Hill Station, Sacramento, and one other, I think Alameda. And we took those things and tried to redeploy them, and some of them were in not such good shape. And anyways, they were EVI boxes, and Jason is here. He's from Clipper Creek. That's EVI's predecessors. Those things are still in service, working. I have redeployed them elsewhere. There's about a half dozen of them that are in good hands. 2003 came along, and that was the crushing of the EV1. Tom did a final ceremonial drive in San Francisco. I don't know all the details, but a 49-mile drive. Had some massive charging, and the first level breakers all held, but there was such a load of all these EVs in there, they popped some second level breakers and took down a bunch of San Francisco. I don't know the details. That's Tom. 2005 came along, the Ford Ranger EVs were being turned in, and Don'tCrush.com started. A bunch of people, including the late William Korthoff, were here in Sacramento protesting Ford. Don't kill those things. They just were going to destroy all the trucks. Turns out they ended up in McClellan Air Force Base. There's a bunch of batteries in there that are the same batteries that were in the EV1, in the second generation EV1, the nickel. And also the RAV4, which Tom had 2 of. And those batteries still going well. And so the Ford protest became worldwide, all the way to Oslo, Norway, where they were crushing the little think cities that they had deployed with nickel cadmium batteries. Greenpeace hung a banner on the Ford building in Oslo and said, Ford, if you crush those things, you're out of the country. You are not welcome to do business here anymore. And we're going, yeah, tell them how. And Ford relinquished, and they said, okay, all 400 of them that are in California, we're going to put them on a boat, and we're going to take them back to Norway. And they did. We put a GPS tracker on them. We tracked them all the way to Savannah, Georgia. They sat there for the longest time, but they did get deployed back in Norway. So that was Don't Crush. That morphed into, as everybody knows, in the movie Who Killed, 2006, a famous movie. It's on YouTube in, I think, 9, 10-minute segments, very fast-paced. That morphed into Plug in America, and they are a thriving nonprofit right now, getting all sorts of grants and EV driver stuff at heart, legislation, and some of the people around here know this real well. In any case, 2009 timeframe, Tom helped us with a reformulated gas grant request. It was a grant proposal. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but Tom spent countless hours doing accounting and coming up with proposal budgets. We didn't win that, but I think a year later or so, the California Energy Commission did give him a grant through Clipper Creek to give the Ford Ranger EV drivers an adapter so they could use their Avcon claw to a J-plug, that's the J1772, to keep those things on the road a little longer. I don't know how many of those trucks are still here, but Tom was in the midst of it, making the adapters at Clipper Creek. Awesome. Anyways, his EV Charger website, EV Charger News website, was the basis for what Recargo and later PlugShare started using as a really useful website. You can see, you can put your notes in there, say I was there, this thing didn't work. All started with Tom's brain power. He worked with Brian Kerrigan and those guys down there at Recargo. That morphed into a PlugShare. Tom is responsible for a lot of the goodness that we see out there on the web today. All I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really awesome. Just summarized, Tom has always been most helpful. He's terminally civil and polite. And he's most gracious and a most deserving pioneer. So thank you, Tom. Let me shake your hand.
We actually have a commendation letter from Doris Matsui, the National House of Representatives member who's working on promoting Sacramento as a region for development of autonomous cars and who is quite interested in this technology. And to, again, in part, I'll just take one paragraph, but it highlights exactly what Ron was speaking about as well. As an industry pioneer, you had the foresight to envision an electric vehicle charging network and an online directory to ensure the growth of that industry. By advocating for common standards, you've helped the fledgling industry grow into a burgeoning success story. We can't ask for a better legacy than that. Thank you so much, Tom.
Say, Tom was the very first person who came to John Sullivan Chevrolet and wanted a Bolt, Chevrolet Bolt. I'll never forget that. And he got the very first Bolt, so that was an interesting point. Well, folks, I want to thank you so much for coming here. On behalf of not just Sullivan Chevrolet, the whole Sullivan Auto Group, we have Roseville Toyota represented here also. So, and what's wonderful about this is see how many people there are and how many familiar faces there are also. So it's just, thanks so much. We're going to need a larger venue. Maybe I can figure that out. But I do want to thank you for coming and for your patience with the size of the venue here. So one thing that obviously one star this evening, in addition to Tom Dowling, is the Bolt EV, remarkable new technology. But one thing I was hoping to do was put this into a bit of context here. To me, what's been remarkable about the last few years, in addition to the improvements in electric vehicle technologies, is the improvement in solar technologies. And these two are coming together in just a wonderful way. Now, how many people here have solar at their home? See, a very significant number. I was expecting that. The Sullivan Auto Group is joining you. And I just wanted to go over that briefly. We're definitely going green, and at least briefly just wanted to do that as part of the context for this. We are undergoing major improvements at both the Roseville Toyota location and this location here. Now these are very ambitious retrofits. And this summarizes this right here. The current usage is roughly 1 million kilowatt hours per year, quite a bit. But what we're doing is undergoing very, very significant savings, first of all, okay? And at this location, it's mainly through, these are LED lights, both inside and out. So that's mainly what we have here. Now what's interesting, and at the Toyota store, what's interesting there that it's actually been mainly obtained through your Climate Wizard there, okay? So somewhat different approach at different locations, but the net effect is that you have very, very significant reduction in total needs, roughly 50%, okay? So that's one really neat thing. Now the other thing is, given this much lower need for energy, look at what we're going to do for solar power generation. I think you can see what we're doing. We've had a rather modest amount, 17 kilowatt design right here, but it's going way up. We're going to be meeting roughly 80% of our needs there. So it's pretty significant, okay? So anyhow, I just thought I'd comment that this is pretty neat, isn't it? So now, between the different locations, we're going to be generating about 1 million kilowatt hours per year. So this is an EV group, and to me, I made this calculation, and I have a little prize here for whoever gets closest to my estimate here. Okay, for the Bolt EV, how many miles can you go per year on what we're going to be generating? A lot, huh? Of course, mileage will vary with George. I'm not talking about what George gets on the track. But okay, the Bolt EV will give you roughly 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So I kind of gave it away. So if you're almost 1 million, so you're at, isn't that who said that first? Okay. Thank you so much.
4 million miles.
Here you go.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. And if anyone wants a Spark Cat, there you go. Okay. But isn't that incredible? That's remarkable. So, okay. So now let me go ahead to the star, one of the stars this evening, which is the Bolt EV. Folks, please bear with me. I know there's a lot of demand, a lot of sold orders, a lot of people asking about where's my sold order, and there have been some delays. I wasn't certain we'd be having some vehicles. They came in this morning, the ones we have here. So what I have here are 4 vehicles. And fortunately, I have at least one of my initial owners, Mr. Wilcox is here. Yes, he has his here also. I do have the full range of these vehicles to show you, from a standard cloth one to a well-equipped leather one. Okay, so so what I'm going to do is just give you a quick summary. Most of you are already aware of some of this, but I just thought I'd go ahead and give you an overview here. What's remarkable about the Bolt EV, of course, is that you have outstanding range of 238 miles. The cloth one starts at 37,495 roughly. After the incentives here, you go down about 10,000. Already, it's Car of the Year. It's Motor Trend Car of the Year, Green Car of the Year, and many other awards for that matter. And this is what's really remarkable about this vehicle, and this definitely shows the maturation in this field of electric vehicles. Is what's really neat in the Motor Trend article, for example, is that it's not just a great EV vehicle for EV people. It's just a great vehicle. So I think that's notable here. It's a great car for the mainstream consumer, and that's definitely what Chevrolet is trying to accomplish here. So let me go ahead and show you the breakdown here. Two main categories here. I have a white one right here that is cloth, just a standard cloth one. And even with that, you have this nice, neat shifting now. They have electronic position shifting. It's a little different. It's kind of neat. It's easier to not get into reverse, for example, inadvertently. It's a little safer. The self-sealing tires are now standard on these vehicles. A larger screen, 10.2-inch diagonal color touch screen, and the rear vision camera is standard on these vehicles. Now, Premier, there's actually a whole lot more in the Premier level. It is leather, of course, but some of the key additional features include the rear camera mirror, the surround vision, leather-wrapped heated steering wheel. Exterior colors, there are 8 exterior colors available For the interior, it's very simple for cloth. I love simplicity.
2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes? Okay, yeah. And then for the leather, there's three main choices. Okay? So I've tried to have some examples out here for you. You're welcome to come out afterwards also. And any questions? Yes?
Do you have a quick moment to explain the confidence thing you were talking about?
I can go over more detail. So confidence, like what the specific features are? Or?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. It's basically the set of safety features. Okay, yeah. So, okay, confidence one includes sensors in the back, especially. Okay, and so for backing up, you have sensors as well as the mirror and rear cross traffic alert. When you're going back, it'll sense either pedestrians or vehicles. And then for the confidence level 2, that has mainly the sensors in the front. So,
Avoid a collision or out of the
yeah,
way.
right.
When you are going to start a leasing program,
Oh, we have. There are leases available. Yes. There are leases through GM Financial. That's who the leasing is with. How much? The national ad is roughly $360 a month plus fees with a little over $1,000 down is the national ad.
it's $298, right?
That's again this is for the standard cloth one, of course. Yeah. So that's always the way.
Is the Spark dead?
Spark, yeah, the Spark is being replaced. The Spark EV, if that's what you're referring to, yeah, is being replaced. Yes. Yes.
Hey, I want a buck for your other hat. Do you know how many times you can circle the Earth with the amount of power in the Bolt that you're generating from solar?
How many?
161.
Congratulations. There you go.
You mentioned a delay for those of us who have already ordered one.
Oh, have you ordered one? Okay. Yes. Okay. There's weather delays. It's winter time. And in general, manufacturers are just being more cautious. They're trying to avoid outright recalls and so on.
A build date.
Excuse me?
If we've been issued a build date.
Yeah, and it doesn't have so much to do with the build date. That's been on time more or less. The building, yeah, it's been more the shipment, and because we do get some estimates of arrival time on the invoices, okay, and they're getting to Milpitas more or less on time, but they're being held there, and that's part of it.
Isn't the manufacturing plant set right now for like 30 or so thousand a year production, but they're interspersed with another car that's an ICE that they can switch
Yeah,
out?
it's Lake Orion, and yeah, I don't know the details there. I do know it's being made in Michigan, and they're doing the best they can. But I don't know the details in terms of.
Yeah, I heard it that they were keeping it at a certain level until they figured out whether there was a big enough demand for them.
That's part of it, and that's where we appreciate the demand here in California, because that's definitely going to be part of the signal of what they're going to do. No doubt about it. Yes?
Somebody at work was expressing interest, and they were just wondering about the size of the car, like if it was on the small side, and
Have a look.
would it outside for you to get
Have a
in?
look. Okay.
Like a Chevy Cruze or so?
Oh, much better. Yeah, and it's wonderful to get inside in front, for example, and in the back it is truly a 3-seater. Okay, truly. In contrast to the Bolt, for example. Is Chuck Dean here? He's 6'8". I have one very large person here who I couldn't believe how he got in the driver's seat. It was wonderful.
Sure. As you said, my name is Judy Cunningham. I represent Roseville Toyota. And I'm actually the Mirai representative for the store, the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. That car I know inside out, upside down, and backwards. I'm pretty well versed on this one as well, but I brought backup here. This is my colleague, Hank Butler. I like to call him Rain Man because when it comes to new vehicles and new technology, he just always has the answers for me. I go to him several times a day for various things, and he's just a great person to work with. So we're really excited about the Prius Prime. There's three models really available. There's the Prius Plus, Prius Prime Plus, the Prius Prime Premium, and the Prius Prime Advanced. Mechanically, they're all the same car. As you move up, you'll get more bells and whistles and leather and heated seats and more enhanced safety features and whatnot. Some of the key advantage or key elements to the car. There's you might remember the former Prius plug-in. I think the electric range on that car was about 11 miles, and the new one here we have it's 25 miles, which is pretty significant change on just electric. The tank gets a total of 640 miles. There's every car, any level, is equipped with Toyota Safety Sense, which is a pre-collision system. The cross-traffic alert that Heath was talking about that they have on the other car. There's a lane departure assist and things of this nature. There's an 11.6-inch high-definition screen, which is pretty great. You'll see if you check out the one outside here. You'll see.
You brought some out.
I did. I brought the medium one. I brought the Prius. Yeah, the premium. So the cubic feet of storage is pretty significant as well. There's 19.8 cubic feet of storage. On the advanced model, which is the higher price model, by the way, the price point's actually pretty attractive on this car. The Prius Plus, $27,000. The premium runs about $28,800, and the advanced fully loaded is about $33,000. So the price point's pretty attractive. And if you got the advanced, you're going to include things, of course, like the blind spot monitors. You're going to have intelligent parking. It's going to park for you, things like that. Heads-up display, and of course, as we talked about, the leather seats, the heated seats, and things like that. That's before, yes. So there are state incentives. I believe there's a $1,500 rebate on the Prius plug-in.
For the state?
For the state and the federal. Yeah, I'm not sure on the federal for this one. I know the federal incentive for the. Is it 45? And did that?
But it's not quite as much as, say, the full.
The full. Okay, I wasn't sure because I know that some of those the federals expired on the 31st, but that's great if this one goes over. That's terrific.
My understanding is that the Prime is actually cheaper than the base unit after the federal and state incentives.
Yes,
Okay, great.
it is.
So it's a cheaper car than the base Prime. Probably the base Prius.
Oh, then the base Prius.
Yeah. So you get.
Right. Once you incorporate those. So, are there any questions about the
25-mile range, EV, all EV range?
Excuse me?
25-mile all EV.
25-mile all EV range, yeah. And I think, what did they say for works out to be 130?
133 mpge is the highest electric efficiency vehicle, full mass production vehicle out there right now. It was the BMW i3 was the previous one, and the Prius Prime just surpassed that by a couple.
Is the regular Prius line continuing and the Prime is just going to park on top?
Absolutely. The regular Prius Prime, the standard Prius hybrid absolutely is continuing. And you'll notice that the Prius Prime has very similar lines. There's a distinctive different front end and a distinctive back end that are different from the standard Prius. But yeah, the Prius is still moving forward. Toyota's will be incorporating in the future, more plug-in EVs and more plug-in hybrids as well. They are also still moving forward with their hydrogen fuel cell portion as well. That program is moving full speed ahead.
So just as an FYI, one of the big advantages of the Prius Prime over the Bolt is that interior space. I did my best to convince a colleague that I worked with as a volunteer in the West Sac Library to consider both. She did. She test drove and looked at both and went with the Prius Prime because of the carrying capacity in the back over the Bolt. So it depends on what your needs are.
Exactly.
But I mean, I saw somebody, this is with the regular Prius, this is ages ago, got a 50-inch flat screen TV in the box, in the back, with the hatch closed.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
Really impressive.
They're kind of deceiving. They look much smaller than they are when you get inside. There's that. Exactly. There's that nice sort of arched roof too, so people like our 7-foot GM can fit in. Are there any other questions that perhaps
You can control when you use the EV. You can save it for later run on hybrid mode and then switch?
There is an EV mode on the car. I'm
It's
going
got a
to
button that can switch from hybrid to electric.
yeah.
Yeah, that is telling you, that is one thing that's been noted, is that it is a significant improvement in going truly EV for those miles, as opposed to some combination
Sure.
As in the past version. So it's definitely an improvement.
Yeah, and those buttons are super visible right on the front display there. You can see the power EV and all those buttons that you can choose the drive. And there's of course the standard power graphs that you'll see monitoring where you're drawing your power from. So as you're driving, you'll see exactly where you're drawing from.
So can you do full acceleration in EV mode and it will stay in EV?
Actually, it will up to what was it? 84 miles per hour. Yeah. Hi.
One more.
I just wanted to let you know, we have the Prime.
Yes.
And that it is a 4-passenger car.
Yes, it is. That's a good point. It is a 4-passenger car. There is that center console in the back that is built sort of around part of the battery pack. It was needed for. They didn't just want to like piss everybody off and not put a 5-seater. There's a reason for that center piece there. But she is correct. It is a 4-seater.
Okay, now, let's keep it for later.
I'm Will Barrett with Clipper Creek. If you guys don't know who we are, we manufacture what I think is the most exciting thing about this this whole transportation revolution. It's the infrastructure. Okay. So I like to think we make the cars go once you get them. So we manufacture charging stations, or EVSE, electric vehicle supply equipment. We're located just up the hill in Auburn. We source all of our components from U.S. companies as locally as possible. So actually a lot of the components that get built into our charging stations or our EVSEs are sourced from California companies. And then we do all the final assembly just up the hill in Auburn. We participate in 3 main market segments. We're a market leader in direct-to-consumer. So folks that go and get one of these plug-in vehicles and they want to be able to charge it up faster at their home, they can give us a call. We'll educate them on which product is best for them, incentives that might be available to them. Even sometimes we educate people on features that their vehicle has that they may not be aware of yet. So we're a market leader in that segment. We also participate in the commercial market, so public charging. So you might when you're driving around out in public, you may come across one of our stations, and you can use those to fill up when you're on the go. You'll see us at a lot of parking garages, hotels, retail locations, and things like that for our public equipment. And the other market that we participate in is the level 1 cord set, or the stations that come with all the plug-in vehicles. So when you get a plug-in vehicle, you get a level 1 EVSE in the trunk that just plugs into a regular household outlet. We supply the key components for those cord sets for all GM, BMW, Volkswagen, and Ford vehicles that are delivered worldwide. So the quality requirements that we have to meet to be a supplier to the automotive supply chain are pretty really stringent. It's a 2-year test cycle. If anything goes wrong, even if it's not something that you designed, you have to get to the bottom of it and fix it. So that quality, those rigorous standards, they carry down into all of the products that we offer. We do level 1 and level 2 charging stations. We cover the full power spectrum of the standard. So that means that we go everywhere from 6 amp charging at 120 volts all the way up to 80 amp charging at 240 volts, which is, we go from about 1 kilowatt all the way up to 19.2 kilowatts of power to charge vehicles. We're one of the only suppliers that covers the full level of power. And we have home stations, or level 2 stations, starting at $379. Again, we're just right up the hill in Auburn, so if anybody's in the market for something like that, give us a call or come up and visit us Monday through Friday when we're there. If there are any questions about charging stations or anything, I'd be happy to answer them.
You forgot something very important, too.
I probably did.
You were chosen for Canada's Sun Country Highway.
Oh, that is true. Yes, so we have our distributor. We have a distributor in Canada. They're our only distributor for all of Canada. Name of the company is Sun Country Highway. And they actually selected our high power charging stations, our CS100, which is a 19.2 kilowatt system. It can charge the Tesla vehicles as fast as they can be charged at level 2 charging. Not as fast as they can possibly be charged, but still a pretty quick turnaround, getting about 60 miles of range per hour that they're plugged in. But Sun Country Highway selected that product to create a cross-Canada highway of for electric vehicle charging. So they go all the way from British Columbia across to Nova Scotia. Trying to remember my Canadian geography. I think that's right. But they go all the way across the country.
Don't forget you have free charging 24/7.
We do. Up in Auburn, we're off of Kemper Road, right off of Highway 49. It's a very popular spot for folks headed up to Tahoe on the weekend or headed down to the Bay Area on the weekend. We have about 9 charging stations out in front of our facility. It's open access. It's open 24/7. There's a couple good restaurants right across the street and a Best Buy. So, you know, something for you to do while you're charging up, support the local businesses. Any other questions? That's my boss. So so George had wanted me to talk about a couple of new products that we had coming out this year. So we've got 2 brand new products that are pretty exciting. One of them is called Charge Guard. It's a key-based access control for our charging stations, very popular for workplace charging, apartments, places where people don't really mind giving away the power, but they only want to give it away to certain folks. So the station has a little key slot in it. You plug it into your car, and it won't start offering power to the car until you turn the key. You can turn the key, take the key with you. The station will work as long as it's connected to the vehicle, and then as soon as you unplug it, it requires someone to turn the key again. It's a pretty basic access control solution, but it is innovative because no one else in the marketplace has it, and it's also very, very popular since we launched it just a couple of months ago. Another really popular one for maybe for folks at their home, they're getting 2 electric vehicles, but they're limited on capacity. We just launched a product called Share 2 that will allow you to power 2 charging stations off of 1 circuit. So you would run one 40-amp circuit to the stations. If one vehicle is connected, it has access to the full power that's available. As soon as you have another vehicle connected and requesting a charge, the power is split between the 2, and they each have access to 16 amps. And then once one vehicle is done, the next one, or the remaining vehicle, gets access to the full 32 amps of power again. Yes, Heath.
I just want to clarify again, for those interested in the Bolt EV also, you have that special product, the 32 amp charger available.
We do. Our most popular product is our HCS 40. We offer it in a variety of different options. We've got hardwired, plug-in. We even have a ruggedized version with an extended warranty. It's perfect for the Bolt EV. It'll fill it up as fast as it can be charged. Works with all EVs, all plug-in vehicles. And it'll get you about 25 miles of range per hour of charge for vehicles that can accept that level of power. We also have lower power stations for plug-in hybrid owners out there, like folks getting the Prius Prime. We have our LCS 20 line that's able to fill those vehicles up as fast as they can take it. Those start at $379. The HCS 40 that's perfect for the Bolt EV starts at $565.
Thank you.
Great. Absolutely.
So as George said, my name is John Grindrod. I manage the Drive Electric program for SMUD. And so if you're a SMUD customer, you'll especially want to be listening to this. So last year, we came in, or just I think at the January meeting, in fact, and talked about a new rebate program that we're working on. We launched in April. It was called Charge Free for a Year. It was a $300 rebate. That was enough for the average Sacramento EV driver to charge enough money to cover that charging for an entire year at our discounted rate. So it's been working really well. We've had a lot of uptake on that. Over 50 customers per month just in the SMUD territory taking up on that rebate. It was for new vehicles, new plug-in electric vehicles, purchase or lease. So essentially it was good for 2015, 2016 models. And of course, as the new ones have come online, the 17 models. We're continuing that this year, but this year we're doubling that. We're going to have what we call charge-free for 2 years. That started actually on January 1st. So it's a $599 incentive. That's enough, more than enough, for the average Sacramento EV charger, EV driver, to charge for 2 years. So that's new. The information is available at smud.org/drive electric. So you can download a rebate there. There's a little pop-up that comes up. It's super easy. A lot of people have been taking advantage of that. So that was the main thing that I wanted to talk about. We have some other incentive kind of things that we're working on. I'm going to give you information on a couple other things, but what's your question?
Did you go approximately $600 because PG&E is now doing $500?
No, actually, I just found out about that the other day, and, along with probably a lot of you from the SacEV email. No, we chose $599, so it's an odd number, right? $599. That's because it's $600. We have to collect a W-9 and we have to send a 1099 form, and so. We didn't have to think too long and hard about that, but that was.
Rebates aren't taxable.
Yeah. This is cash. This is just we send you a check, so it's just money. So it is taxable. So anyway, so that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I heard you say that this is somebody buying a new EV.
It is.
Okay, so if you already if you purchase a used EV, it's like, thanks for the environment.
Really, what we're trying to do, of course, is promote the adoption of the technology. And when there's a used vehicle out there, of course, it's in the marketplace. We understand. Maybe Heath could speak to this, but they're not. They don't apparently tend to be sitting on car lots for very long. The used ones. So we do, of course, have an interest in having all the EVs out there in use. We're the electric company. We sell electricity.
PG&E works for used ones too.
Yes, that's for everybody. It's a one-time thing. That's true. I know what I've read on their website. So it's $500 one time per VIN number. So we're working on some other incentive things. So in the next month or two, we may have some more stuff to talk about. But I just want to mention real quick, in 2017, we are also launching a workplace and multifamily charging incentive program. Now this is for businesses. What we're trying to do is encourage workplaces to offer charging to their employees. And of course the reason for this is because the research shows that if an employee knows that they have a place to charge at work, it reduces that range anxiety, gives them a lot of incentive to go out and buy an EV and use that as their commuter vehicle. So this is not for public charging. So just something to keep in mind. It's one of those little things that trip people up. We're really trying to encourage this to be used for employees and also multifamily. So we're thinking of in terms of apartment complex. And Ralph Trout is also here from SMUD. Ralph is kind of headlining a DC fast charging incentive program that we have as well. This is just some general information. If you guys want to know more about that, you can contact us. These commercial oriented programs will be popping up on the web here in the next few weeks, so there'll be more information there. And the last thing I want to mention real quick is that a few months ago we put a new EV estimator online at smud.org/drive electric. On that, it's a tool that you can use to compare any new model ICE vehicle with a new model EV. It breaks down the operational cost, the fueling cost, the maintenance cost, estimated maintenance cost, even financing. Tells you what your overall energy usage is going to be. It takes into account all of the rebates and incentives that are available in the SMUD territory and gives an overall cost. It's a really handy, useful tool. I'd encourage you to go on to smud.org/drive electric, look over to the left, and give a click on that. So thank you guys.
Thank you, John. So you've heard, Guy was going to do this, but I'm not going to drag Guy up here. Just again, in the last 2 days, PG&E has sent out a notice at basically if you are in PG&E territory and you have any electric vehicle, however long you've had it, all you have to do is log onto their website, get all the VIN information, and confirm that the car is registered properly, and you get a $500 check for each one. And Guy is grinning from ear to ear because he owns 3 EVs that he's got registered, and he's already planning his next vacation.
That'll cover about 3 weeks of charging.
Yeah. And let me have, Ralph, will you stand up and just sort of wave at him? Ralph is the DC fast charging honcho for SMUD. And again, I want to thank both Ralph, Dwight, and John for being here representing SMUD. And what this is testimony to is how truly devoted SMUD is to the community interests, and community welfare in terms of promoting EVs. And along those lines, as you picked up from the edges over there, one of the other programs that we on the board hope to pursue somewhat aggressively this next year is to work towards more what we're going to call social equity issues for EVs, and that is to find ways to get those incentives out there for the used car market, for the people who cannot, like all of us, at our discretion, pick up a new car, but who really could benefit by driving electric, whose environment around where they live and their children would be benefited by electric vehicles. And you know, the $5,000 to $7,000 used market, we really need to find a way to promote and encourage the adoption of those vehicles in really the lower income secondary market. And that's one of the board goals for this next year, and we'd really encourage support and involvement from any of you that are interested in working with us on that, particularly towards lobbying groups like SMUD and PG&E to rethink how some of those monies are distributed.
How many people would like to have solar but can't because of trees or something else? All right, everybody raise your hand. Talk to John. I'll point you to John, who was up here earlier. Talk to him about the Greenergy program. You can have clean power in your home for a very minor cost and be able to tell everybody that you drive on sunshine. So check with John after that, and if you're, this is only for SMUD customers. I think PG&E has something very similar, but if you got the opportunity here to talk with SMUD about their Greenergy program.
And in that regard, again, as we close, and this really is my closing comments, and we'll send everybody out to look and jump in those cars, is that this Sullivan dealership is exceptionally committed to green marketing, green basically economics, and it has in the last year, I've lost Heath here and he could add some of this, you know, basically there's a little thing here about a switch where Sullivan, for this whole dealership, has gone green with solar and a number of other environmental commitments and changes to make this dealership as green as possible. And I really do want to commend Sullivan, and I think, you know, let's everybody give a closing round of applause to Sullivan for all of that.